that. And this is a rare Friday appearance. Look at him getting his collar right.
Yes.
Ryan Knight, what are you doing here so early on a Friday?
The kiddos have a little PA day, so
Oh, there we go. There you go. Because usually Ryan will tell me he can't make it, or he'll come in halfway through the show and he said, "Can you send me the link?" So here I am 2 minutes before the show trying to get this link thing down. What's going on, sir?
Things are going well. So tomorrow we have, and I'll talk about tomorrow in a sec. So for those that have forgotten who I am, because I'm not here some Fridays, I am one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. So we support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage the business is in, and then help them create a strategy to grow with getting them access to funding and helping them with their marketing and sales. And I am an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses, their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And we have our first youth entrepreneurship in-person training day tomorrow. And I believe I saw one more spot is available. So if you have a dirty car and you can make it to Brampton, we will be training detailing out in the parking lot at our office. So looking forward to that.
If you can tolerate Toronto traffic to make it to Brampton, because I was out in Brampton last Sunday. The drive out there was brutal.
Yes,
it was very brutal, but it was cool. So before we go any further, let's shout out some people already in the house. Stephanie Joseph, good morning. Fitness IQ Cam, good morning, otherwise known as KSEYL RWFQ KOK FV. Office of Tim Frey, good morning. It's good to be alive. Not so good, but it's great to be alive. JG Mars is in the house from Colorado. What is up? What is the weather in Colorado? And Stephanie Joseph says, amazing. This is fantastic to hear. Love, great energy going on so far. What's been going on, man?
Beyond getting ready for like the Detailing Night season and training the young entrepreneurs, of course, I got to give my gala report.
Oh, so God.
3 that I got invites for. First Friday's 30th anniversary is tonight.
You're reading my alleged mind, because I was going to shout out to Warren Salmon for having First Friday's going on 30th anniversary.
Absolutely, 30 years. And he'll say it hasn't missed a month. So
wow, dedication. Okay, so that's one gala,
and that one's downtown at the Globe and Mail, I guess, building, which has a nice venue. Frontlines. So shout out to Station, who run the executive director of Frontlines. I saw they're doing a gala fundraiser.
When's that?
I didn't even look at the date. I just saw it.
Okay,
I'll check that later.
Yeah.
So shout out to Station and Toronto Community. Oh my gosh, TCBN. So Toronto Community Benefits Network. They're doing their diversity and inclusion awards in the construction industry. That is June 14th. So next Friday.
Yeah, I got up.
Yeah.
I'm playing back and forth with someone on trying to get a conversation with. Why am I forgetting her name? Rosemary.
Yes.
Trying to see if we can nail that down. So that's great. So what? So gala report. Anything else going on this week?
No, I mean that will definitely keep me busy.
Okay.
What's happening? No, nothing too much. How about yourself?
Well, a few interesting things. Yesterday, I went to the Soundwave Summit, which is a podcasting summit run by, Shirley Joseph of Black Canadian Content Creators was really critically involved in that. So I went down. That I was hoping at 11 o'clock during the day, the traffic would be great. Going down the Don Valley, it stopped. I go, okay, is there an accident? No. Grass cutters. So they're taking up one lane. Grass.
So listen, leave that grass alone.
Yeah, right.
With the construction downtown and all the detours now, they're saying it's adding 25 to 30 more minutes.
Actually, yes, we're talking Toronto centric here for everybody, but I heard on the news that the traffic to the commute downtown has risen by an average of 250%. and this is going to be for another few years.
Yeah, it's not even like they said possibly 5 years.
Yeah. So for me, yeah,
I'm trying to get it short.
Yeah, went to the summit. I went to just hang out. I had some great conversations. Some people wanted to get some chats from me, etc. And then Shirley says to me, next time we're going to have you up there. I said, well, what about today? But that's another conversation.
Yes.
But that was okay. But the thing is, during the conversation, I had to take that potentially very interesting business call that could learn into a very interesting collaboration with a top 20 Canadian organization.
Excellent. Love it.
So we're not going to give too much details on it. The nice thing is myself and the other members of the team were introduced to them by somebody else. So they're championing us.
Right. Nice.
So
and I just got a note, from station, October 5th is when Frontlines.
Yes. And you know what? And we have great family here. So okay, Fitness IQ says, there we go. So I guess she likes how I referred to her. Stephanie Joseph says 30 years already for for First Fridays.
Yes.
JG Mars, it's a hot Colorado morning. So we are international, by the way. Right. And Stephanie Joseph says, I believe Frontlines Annual gets October 5th. And Fitness IQ Cam says, I forgot about that event. How was it? Talk to me offline. We don't want to take all the time up, but it was interesting. And then the office of Tim Frey says, all the Black Gala events, and they are still giving their money to the majority of event spaces that aren't owned by Black entrepreneurs. Facts. Well, no, bring it back up.
Yes.
And he's asking, what are you doing about that, Gala King? LOL.
The list is there. I've even shared the list with Tim Frey. But one thing to keep in mind, and again, not to throw anybody under the bus, but when we're looking to do events at Black venues, and I believe Nia Center was on the list, it wasn't able to get done. And I don't know why. And others have been trying to book events there. So even Dream Suites, I reached out to do an event there, and all of a sudden they're not doing events anymore. So we have to figure out how to make the user experience seamless.
What's going on under the cover? Why aren't they able to do those things? Good question.
Are they hiring an event manager? Like, it's nice to have a space, but you have to have somebody that drives to make sure that it's booked, and that is their job.
Marketing. So here's an interesting Well, actually, you know what? Why don't I do this? So, as always, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on the YouTube and hit the notification button. Please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please email me, dr.vibe at the vibe@show.com, and join our Discord group by emailing me. And so, you know what? I'm going to do some program alerts right at the front end. Coming up on this Sunday's Black Canada Talking live at 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be talking about the challenges with Black mental health and how we can do better in our Canadian society. We have 2 certified psychotherapists who are part of the Canadian Psychotherapist Association. They're going to be giving their take and some of the pushback they've got from that organization advancing this.
Oh, boy.
Also, coming up on this Monday show, she's back already. Yes, Carolyn Nicole is going to be talking about how not to lose your health on your vacation, part 2. And then, as always, check out Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. And they make sense out of the nonsense of what's going on in America.
All right.
Live at Saturday p.m.
Yes.
So I just want to get those things in. Actually, there's other things on, but here's an interesting question. What is the second most popular pop brand in America?
Pop, like soda pop?
Yes. So, okay, what's number 1? Let's see if you can get number 1.
Okay, that'd be Coca-Cola.
Right. Now, who is number 2 now?
Hold on. It's not Pepsi?
No.
Wow. Who else is there? I don't even know there's a number 3.
And that this is
is it Red Bull?
No, Pop Quiz. No, Pepsi is not number 2. And No, and Stephanie Joseph said Coke. Yeah, but no.
I remember Snapple used to love to be number 3.
And actually, this brand has been around, I think, actually, definitely longer than Pepsi, and maybe longer than Coke, but definitely longer than Pepsi.
Who else makes pop?
Ah.
Coke owns so much subsidiary brands. I was gonna say Sprite, but then Sprite is part of Pepsi.
Pepsi, yeah. What is a number 2 now by brand?
Is it Grace?
No. Come on, Ryan. Come on, Ryan.
I buy a lot of pineapple soda, so I was thinking we pushed them over the edge.
Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna go to break, and it is the first Friday of June, so we're gonna be bringing Wayne Harris. So we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna bring Wayne on. We'll ask him that question to see if he can get it, but we're gonna go on a quick break, and Wayne Harris will come on, and let's see if Wayne can answer the question. So, actually, let's see if we have another guess. That's Stephanie Joseph goes, Grace, LOL. That's funny. Grace, what percentage do they sell in America, Ryan? That's hilarious. All right, we're going to go to break, and let's see if anyone else can find the answer to the question, or even if Wayne Harris can find the answer. We'll be back in about a minute and a half. Look at him wonder. Okay, we'll be back.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paige. I am a marketing consultant and the host of More Than a Mom, the podcast. I am here at the Soundwave Summit, and I had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Vibe, and the gems he dropped were unmatched. An accidental conversation really changed my whole plan. And if I had him 3 years ago when I started my consulting career, it would have made a major change. The biggest thing that I learned that I'm taking with me is understanding that I do not have a show, I have a solution. And I think that's something that's not talked about enough. Another thing that really adjusted my mindset was the power of positive language. I was telling him about some of my problems are asking for help. I'm always pouring into other people, but it's hard, and it's a problem that I can't get that same thing in return. And he said, it's not a problem. It's something that, what did you say? Not a problem. You said, oh, it's a challenge. It's something that's a challenge for me. And that simple adjustment of language, I went away to lunch and I called 4 people and I'm like, hey friends, we need to change our energy. We need to change our outlook. We are solution-driven people. We do not need to do things the way society tells us to do things. This checklist that we feel like we need to fall under, this 10-minute conversation we had, it changed up everything. So I'm so thankful for the gems. I feel like I'm going to go back and make a whole new to-do list that's based on how I need to do things, a different way of looking at things, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you, Dr. Vibe.
All right.
Nice.
A young lady that I had a chance to share with yesterday at the Soundwave Summit, and it went really well. Okay. Okay, so before Wayne comes on, someone got the right answer. Fitness IQ.
Wait, don't say it yet. Let Wayne guess. Oh, Doctor. No, I do not believe that.
Dr. Pepper is the number 2 brand now when it comes to soft drinks.
I refuse to believe that. Dr.
No,
Pepper.
it's true. And
Stephanie they only have one drink?
No, they have a few. And Stephanie Joseph, Keurig, Dr. Pepper. I had to go. See, I had to Google it. You see that? You cheated. All right, let's bring Wayne Harris to the stage. What is up, Mr. Harris?
All good in the hood. How are you guys?
Outstanding, outstanding. Did you think Dr. Pepper was number 2? Did that come into your guess?
You know, I'm a baby from the 80s, you know, coming through my teen years in the 80s. So it was a Pepsi Coke challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back in the day. But I knew a strong number 3 would be Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't drank Dr. Pepper in years.
Yeah, well, and here's one of the things with Dr. Pepper. For those who watch, especially college football in the U.S., they are all over that. Like, they sponsor so many different things, and so they've really put themselves out there, especially in the college market.
Gotcha.
In the U.S.
I'm surprised Mountain Dew didn't come in 3rd place.
All right,
I think that's a Pepsi product.
Yes, I think it is. Okay. I think it is.
That's why I thought Dr. Pepper was under one of the 2.
One of the 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Stephanie Joseph says, no, seriously, who still drinks Dr. Pepper? I don't drink it at all. Like,
is it in Canada? Like I thought that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even see that. Or you know what I thought it might have been? As I'm thinking, root beer. Like is
Right,
that
A&W
Marks?
root beer, yes, yes.
Or something like that? Yeah.
All right. Well, always good to see Mr. Harrison's house. Before we go any further, program alert, everybody. June 21st, 9 a.m. So I think the last time Ray was last time Wayne was here, he came up with this Black Belt Conversations. So
Nice.
the first episode, it's going to happen only every few months, family. So I'm telling you from now, Black Belt Conversations. We had another great win this week. Had a conversation with Wayne and Ray. I didn't talk much. They were just dropping, and it was hilarious, man. It was back and forth. Yeah, but it's like it was.
Oh yeah.
It was back. I just sat and listened and said, "That's one of the main reasons I do what I do." For the longest period of time, I wanted to get Ray and Wayne in a conversation. It finally happened, and like the knowledge that was tried back and forth. Family, book your calendars from now. You don't want to miss it, especially live. You don't want to miss it because should we tell them what your guys are going to be talking about? Or we just keep it under the cover.
I'll see them on the 21st.
Okay, thank you. Well done. Okay, so and Wayne family is good.
Everybody's good. I've got graduation for number one on number one graduating on the 20th.
Yeah.
Whoa, congrats.
So they stayed off strike long enough for him to get in and get out.
Yes.
No, is it York?
Yeah, York. Yeah.
Oh man, they love their strikes, eh?
Not only that, there was an encampment that was put up there like a day or so ago. They already got rid of it. I don't know what's going on with the U of T, but they got rid of the encampment. And New York, it was only up for like 24 hours. They said no.
Well, McGill, they had to go in with some muscle.
Yeah, and
police action in McGill.
Yeah.
All right. And JJ Mar says no healthy soft drinks. Is there such a thing as a healthy soft drink?
Yes, water.
The soda stream?
Water. All right. So Wayne, you're wanting to chat today about financial concepts for the culture. As always, we let you drive the ship. We just steer it. And I've got questions this week, and I know what maybe Ryan does, but kick it off, my man. Oh, actually, before you kick it off, we talked about it before we went live. The interest rates went down.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, they went down as small a drop as you can possibly get. 0.25% on the basis point, which is better than nothing, but slightly better than nothing. And what the government has to watch and see is what the echo of this drop is going to do. We were the first country in the G7 to lower rates. Right behind us, England stepped up and said they're going to do it as well. We're going to see what the Americans do. Some people are saying, if you have a variable rate mortgage and it drops 0.25%, well, then you will see that drop. But if you have a fixed rate, nothing changes for you with a fixed rate mortgage. We're going to have to see when your fixed rate expires and you re-up. This is the big, tsunami wave that's coming to hurt people right now. Some people are at 1.5, 1.7, 1.9, 2%, and they're going to walk in to 5.39 on a fixed 4-year or 4.99 if they can get it on a 3-year, and variable is at 7.2. So you have a challenge where you're stress testing now for about 8.4%. You have to prove that you can handle 8.4%, even if your rate is 2% below that. And this is going to be the challenge. So people's mortgage rates are doubling. I know mine did.
It's heavy.
So I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
I played the variable game for 20 years. And won.
Right.
And now I'm losing. So I'm losing for 3 years out of the 20. 17 years to 3. I'll take that. I'll take my lumps.
Well, and I'm sure you're seeing a lot of people that are living week to week or month to month, that type of increase. What do you do to plan for that kind of budget hit? Because what can you do?
Yeah. So for me, great question. For me, when I do my financial needs analysis, I talk about having an emergency fund of 6 months.
Mhm.
I don't want people immediately going to their long-term savings to top themselves up, and I do not want them cashing out investments to do it, which is why I hope people have at least 6 months. But if you have to do what it takes to make sure that you pay that bill, because the bank will say, that's my house and I'm allowing you to live in as long as you pay that money. And I've had 2 families in the last 2 months have to sell. One got evicted and the other one had to sell below market because the payments were crazy. $7,000, $7,500 a month, principal, interest, and taxes.
Right.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's a lot of money.
I've seen a couple businesses get evicted, not being able to refinance because
Right.
the whole market has changed, and private is completely not as it used to be that backup plan. It's like, oh, you could always just go get private. Now private is just as tough.
Private is still a backup plan if
Mhm.
you're using it for a short period of time.
True.
So
Yeah.
if private money wants to be paid because they know they're in second position. So that means it has to be a lot of equity in that house for me to give my private money and give you that money at 12 or 14%. Because I'm in second position. Something goes wrong, I may not get my money back. So I need to make my money back as quickly as possible,
Right.
which brings me into my second subject. It's kind of a tough one to discuss within the Black community, but today's show is about the culture. So one of the things about the culture is our rates of marriage.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about marriage and finances.
Mhm.
Dr. Vibe, you are on the show. You are married. How long have you been married, sir?
Oh, about 14 years.
14 years. Good for you. I love it. Ryan Knight, you are married. How long have you been married?
Yes, 15. Well, it will be 15 August.
15. August what?
15th.
August 15th.
Check that. Yes, August 15th.
Oh, listen, you're on tape, bro.
Yeah, Cher watches these. I know she watches these on the replay.
Buddy, if I ever get a tattoo, actually in my ring, I put my wedding date.
Oh, we're on the inside?
Have you ever had to take it off?
Engraved in my ring.
Have you ever had to take it off to refer?
Don't worry about them things.
That's between us. That's between us.
It's in my ring. All right, so I've been married 31 years. Okay,
Oh,
31
kid.
years.
Ooh.
So the two of you combined plus a
Don't
couple
hit
of
you.
years.
Yeah, it doesn't even hit it.
All right, so let's look in the chat. Finance IQ Cam is coming in 10 plus years. Congratulations, I love it.
Yeah.
Anybody else on here married? But while we're waiting for them to come in, I want you to understand that there's 3 things that really affect your ability to create wealth, generational wealth for your family. 3 things that will help you create it. One is you go out and your money makes more money than inflation. You got to beat inflation. So when inflation's 3% and you're making 2% on your money, Dr. Viber, you winning or losing?
Losing.
Backwards.
And if you are not tax efficient with your money and you put your money in, you're going to get taxed at 50% or more, because I'm going to say or more, because June 25th, capital gains tax is changing, or more, from 50% to 66.67%. Are you winning? Go out and get an asset, make money on it, make over $250,000. And my boy's coming in with another 16.67% tax on top of what you had planned for all those years was 50%. Design your life at 50% capital gains, and now it's 66.67 above 250.
Oh,
So
16 on top of the 50 now.
Yes, brother.
Oh,
See, that's why you gotta come here on Friday. I know you're walking the kiddos, but you need to put it on,
Yes.
while you're walking. Right? This
Yes.
is coming up in we're June 7th. So in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
In a couple of weeks, this guy's raising the capital gains tax above $250,000 in profit. You have to pay another 16% in tax. So everybody who did their financial planning based on 50% and provided the different tools that you can have in place to pay those taxes when you die, you're going to get, as Russell Peters would say, somebody going to get hurt real bad, right?
Yes.
Because imagine now your parents own a home.
Yes.
When you inherit that home, taxes have to be paid. Now, if the wife is alive or the husband's alive, spousal transfer, there's no tax. But to the kids, there's tax.
Okay.
And there's probate. So you got to pay probate, 1.5% above $50,000. And then you have to pay capital gains tax on the fair market value of the house. Even if your parents want to give you the house for $1, tax is based on the fair market value of the house. So they bought the house for $150 in Malvern. Now that house is worth $1 million. That's an $850,000 capital gain. $425 is yours tax free. The other $425, $250 of the $425 is taxed at 50%. The difference between $250 and $425, $175, that's taxed at 66.67%.
Just gone, wiped out.
And I just wanted, before we go any further, two things. I know we have audiences around the world. We're talking about Canadian
law, Canadian capital.
And one other thing, Share Knight says, "Morning all." August 15, 2009. Ryan, I am off work today and watching live. LOL.
See? Good man. Ryan, all you have to remember is August Vince Carter.
Yes, I'll take
August Vince Carter. I'm August Kevin. I'm August Kevin. I'm Big Ticket.
Yes.
Kevin Garnett. I'm August Big Ticket.
Oh, okay.
21.
All right, let's get back to this. So you see, Share watches. Share watches. I know. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
So when we're looking at what destroys wealth, we talk about taxes, we talk about inflation. The third thing that destroys net worth is the breakdown in the marriage.
Okay, right.
Or lack of marriage. Now,
Wayne, I want to stop right there because this is very important. And I'm a person who believes the greatest area of wealth for Black or African people is the family. And we don't know what the stats are in Canada, but I'm sure they're pretty high too. But in the United States, at least 70% of the children of African or Black people, single parent.
Yeah.
And I want to also go deeper. What impact has history had on culture and wealth?
Well, Canada has zero stats on that. I know you had a gentleman on here, Dr. Justine Pierre, who is building up databases on Black statistics in countries that don't normally take those statistics. And he has a thriving business filling that gap. But let's just look at the United States, which is our neighbor to the south, where 80% of our gross domestic product comes from. And we win when our Canadian dollar drops in value. The Americans will buy more Canadian goods, but everything we buy from them, which is 80% of everything we have here, becomes more expensive because our dollar is dropping. So you win some, you lose some, right? Macro and microeconomics and all those things that my son has a master's degree in now that he can talk about one day on this show. And maybe I'll bring him on to talk about that. But what I want to tell you is this. Between 1619 and 1865, marriage was illegal for Black people in the United States. Okay? Slavery. Not supposed to get married. You're jumping over brooms. You can't publicize it. Ceremonies are done at night. Yada yada. Okay, that's one of the histories. Then, between 1865 and 1965, we have Jim Crow in the United States, in the southern United States. Okay, so separate and unequal. Okay, over 4,000 lynches. If you've been to the lynchings, if you've been to the American Museum of History, African American Museum of History in DC, it's fairly new. I was there last Christmas. A very impressive building and very impressive display. Something that I would recommend to every person of color or not of color to go and see and get the American experience of that time in history.
Right.
So Jim Crow, separate and unequal. So what are you going to do? Well, we're going to have our own dry cleaner. We're going to have our own taxi company. We're going to have our own bus company. We're going to have our own hotels. The Green Book movie was written about the Green Book, where you can look and see where the black places were. So when you're driving through the South, you know where you can and where you can't stop.
Gotcha.
Okay? Green Book. So entrepreneurship is thriving in some areas. This is where you get your Black Wall Streets and Tulsa and Greenwood and Harlem Renaissance in the 1920s and so on and so forth, where black people are taking care of themselves and other people are coming to be taken care of in our businesses. So the restaurant, where they want the soul food, they have to come to us. You want the jazz, you come to us. You want the blues, you come to us, right? Then, during that time, the black church is the center of economic and political ideology for the black family during that time. What happens in the 1960s? Well, someone decides that separate and unequal is not what we want. Malcolm is saying, and some others are saying, separate and equal. Garvey's saying that. Malcolm's saying that. Okay? Others are saying, we want to integrate so we can all be the same together, as opposed to you having yours and me having mine on our respective terms. So I keep my black hotels. I keep my black banks. I keep my black insurance companies. I keep my black taxi companies. I keep my black bus companies. But I have access to all the resources you have access to, and I have the ability to vote.
Gotcha.
Wow. What would that life look like today? Because there's 45 million black Americans. But we'll talk about why there's only 45 million black Americans when they were 90% of the population in the South before the 1970s. It's another show. But let's talk about this now. So we're talking about wealth. So the black families together, the black church is the center of the universe for the black family. Jim Crow's there. You got to depend on yourself. You're going to work in the white areas, but you're going to leave the white areas, sundown cities, and get out of there and get back to your cities. And they're doing redlining to keep you where they need to keep you. Okay? This side of the tracks, that side of the tracks. That's where that comes from. This is redlining, where you weren't allowed to buy a house. No one could sell you a house. There are people who are building houses, and instead it's white only, suburbs. Okay? And anywhere there was a black thriving area of the city, that's where the highway came through, and they pave over, expropriate the land, kill the black economic engines of the community, and run the highways through those cities. And you see that, for yourself in Montreal, where I was born, in a city called Montreal, downtown Montreal, known as Little Burgundy. The Villa Maria Highway cuts right through that community.
What?
By design.
That is what.
Okay, so you can go and do your own math, and the Americans on here can hold me honest. But this is what they did. They ran to make sure that the highways came right through the economic engines, and if that didn't work, they would just burn them down.
And
right?
I was curious, after in the U.S. they were able to start getting married, was marriage rates high or
very high, 83%?
Okay,
because again, the black church is the foundation, and the church promotes marriage. Because if you promote marriages, you have kids. If you have kids, you have congregations, right? So it serves the church.
Yeah.
This is why if you look at farming and rural, you need hands. Someone's got to feed the kids. Someone's got to feed the chicken, the cows, the pigs, and do all those things. Chores. You have a job. Right. So that creates the economy within itself. And again, before the Industrial Revolution, father and son, mother and daughter. Father would teach his son what he does. If he's a blacksmith, the son would be in the blacksmith shop watching his father. If the mother was a seamstress, the daughter would be watching the mother. The mother cooking dinner, the grandmother's cooking, the daughter's in there watching them while the guys are out in the fields or out in the barn, out doing what they're doing. Then the Industrial Revolution comes and fathers disappear for 10 hours. And the sons are back home going to school. School's created by the Rockefellers to create employees, not to create entrepreneurs. And they're at school learning and being indoctrinated how to be employees while the father's away doing something for someone for 8-9 hours a day and coming home dead tired and the son never sees anything. So the master apprentice model gets broken.
Right.
Okay. So now the Industrial Revolution comes. We have that going on. Little something called World War II happens. World War One at first, we don't want you to fight with us. We're losing. You guys can fight with us, right? Same thing with the Civil War. We don't want you. We don't want you. We're losing. We'll take you. You can come and work with us. Okay. World War II. America's not involved. Enter Pearl Harbor. Now we're involved. And we don't want you. We don't want you. We don't want you. You know what? We need you because you Tuskegee Airmen kind of know what you're doing, and the planes aren't getting shot down when you guys have their back, and so on and so forth. And we work within super negative, super hostile environments, and like Maya Angelou says, we rise. We rise. It's unbelievable when you read the stories about what we've been through the last 400 years, and yet we rise. So we are resilient people. And that was a blessing and a curse.
Okay.
Right? It's a blessing because we're still here.
Yes.
But it's a curse because other people were put to work the way we were put to work, and they didn't survive. They tried with other people first. Remember, we're the last resort. They tried with the indigenous. They tried with the Irish. They tried with other people. No one can handle that workload. That was our blessing. We can handle the workload. It's also our curse.
All right. Before we go any further, want to catch up on some comments. Serena Wills says blessings, everyone, and happy Friday from the DMV area. Also, Rich Kodamine, I owe you an email. So I feel so bad. Says Route 333, Buffalo, New York. So maybe that's the same example going through a black neighborhood. And also Serena Wills says there's an exhibit lesson in the National Museum for the African American History and Culture, DC in DC on the Green Book. The Green Book even had names of homes that would put up black people.
Yep.
And Darcy Rose, always when Wayne is here, he's here. Good morning, all sending greetings from NYC this week. Preach, Wayne. I still believe our community was hurt more economically by integration than helped. Self-reliance is the key.
Thank you, Doris.
So,
let me tell you, we looked at skilled trade. When you came out of high school back in the day, you could say I want to be a plumber, and there would be tech. Remember, there's wood shop, there was tech, there was automotive mechanic, there was all these things in school that were just ending when I came through.
Okay.
I'm 57 now, so it was just ending. You could say, listen, remember there was academic and applied, right? There were two streams. And if you went applied, those were the guys who were doing very cool things in wood shop and metal shop and so on and so forth. They were learning a trade, and they were coming out and they were going into skilled trades, which everybody looked down on. Not anymore.
Right.
As you know, skilled trade, now you're a carpenter, you're making six figures. You're a plumber, you're making six figures. Electrician, six figures. You're doing, you're a roofer, six figures.
And in demand.
Tiling, flooring, you name it. You put down carpet, you're making six figures. Because no one can do it, because everybody went down the university path. Not everybody's designed for university, but let me get back to it. So taxes, inflation, marriage, and the breakdown of it. We leave Jim Crow. Hooray, you can vote, 1964. Hooray, you have civil rights, 1965. And guess what comes right after that? All those businesses that were black owned are no longer the choice for black people, and they decide they're gonna go shop at Macy's. And all the black retail dies. And they're gonna get on the regular bus, and all the black bus companies die. And they're gonna get in a white taxi because they can now, and all the black cab drivers die. You understand?
Whoa.
You understand? So all of a sudden, I don't have to go to, if I want to get my hair done, someone has to understand black hair. So the black barbershops and the salons survive. Okay. And those are the businesses we're in today because they're bespoke for us, right? But where can you go other than not super high end? He's high end, but there are a couple of high end places where a black man can go get a suit, custom made in Toronto by black men. Shout out to Farihara and shout out to Marlon. I can't remember his last name. I think it's Marlon Durant. The guys make beautiful shirts, beautiful suits. They make them for the Raptors and all that kind of stuff. And high end, couple $1,000, a couple $100 for a shirt, couple $1,000 for a suit. But if I want to take my son downtown Mississauga and go into a black-owned shop where he can buy a suit from a black man, he can't do it.
Right.
He can't do it. I hazard a guess he can't do it anywhere in Canada. You, Ryan, can take your son and go somewhere and say, my son is X years old, and a black person who owns a black shop will walk you to the kids section and pick a suit up off the rack and put on your son and fit it to your son so he can go to his confirmation or to his grade 6 grad or whatever he wants to do. I doubt you can go anywhere in the country. Correct me if I'm wrong. And everybody who's online, let me know.
There was only one guy in Port Credit, Lakeshore, but I don't know if he did kid suits, but he did do adults. But yeah, I can't think of anybody else.
But every time we go to a gala, everyone's dressed in suits.
Exactly.
All right, we're all dressed in suits. We're dressed in tuxedos.
Yes.
I see people wearing the kente cloth and the kente, all that stuff. My sister got me a beautiful kente cloth bow tie for my 50th.
Mm-hmm.
But when I rock that, people are like very impressed. But where can I get it? Bert, your guess is as good as mine. I was in Kensington Market a couple of weeks ago. I saw a lot of pop-up and a lot of small shops that were black owned, and it was Black Sunday, and I went in there and I bought stuff from black vendors in those places, and I was like happy to do it. But I had to buy the suit from a guy who sold me suits for 25 years. He doesn't look like us.
Gotcha.
But he gives me a good deal. And the guy who is in the shop selling me the suits looks like me. So I'm getting it from that perspective. But I cannot buy an off-the-rack men's suit or men's clothing that is not urban, however you want to dress it up. But I'm talking Bay Street worthy suit from a black-owned shop in Canada, and I've been to 7 of the provinces. Okay?
All right, just want to jump in. Roger Dundas says, "Morning, gents," and Ray McMillan, the McMillan Group, says, "Good morning, gentlemen. Very important conversation." As I said, 2 weeks from today, Black Belt Conversations. Ray McMillan, Wayne Harris. Man, I should have recorded the conversation we had this week. That could have been a great pilot right there.
Listen, Ray is the coolest brother I know. This guy's in his backyard. I see the glow from the pool in his backyard, and this guy's out there living his best life, and he's in the camera saying, "You too can be like me."
Right. Yes.
He's saying,
"When you find out where does Ray get his suits?"
That's a good
question.
That's a good question. So, look in regards to culture. What good or bad messages is culture sending our people when it comes to financial concepts?
Okay, good question. Let's finish the first one, and I'm done. I had to give you the background to let you understand that the mindset of the black person in North America. I'm going to focus on the Americans because their history, our history reflects theirs. We were going through the same sort of things, not to the same degree. Slavery was in Canada, yes. There was not Jim Crow laws, but there were places we knew that we shouldn't go, and we were not welcomed when we went there. And we kind of stuck together in the western part of Quebec and Montreal, where I grew up. And when you look at Toronto, Bathurst and Bloor is kind of mecca for black people here. Now that has moved north. Some places you will say it is the Jane and Finch corridor. Other places you'll say it's the Malvern corridor in the east.
Yeah, they're being gentrified, man. They're being gentrified.
Understood. But what happened is when you are in the Bathurst Bloor area and you go back 50 years or 60 years, we're not buying, we're renting. We're renting.
Little Jamaica, another example.
Little Jamaica as well, we're renting. So I say for Little Jamaica, for those who aren't familiar, it's between Marley and Oakwood on Eglinton
in
in
Toronto.
North York.
Yeah.
Built by Italians, owned by Jews, rented by blacks. Okay, this is what it is. Okay, and that little area there was Mecca for us as well, because we're starting to move into the suburbs. So what happens is downtown, it too expensive or whatever was going on at the time caused people to get lower cost houses in the suburbs. And the first suburb is Scarborough. Second suburb is Etobicoke. So you're going to pick one east or west. A lot of us picked east. So they went and bought houses and got backyards and now can have barbecues because they're in the burbs, right? It's great. But you give up prime real estate downtown and prime footprints for services downtown. The black doctors are going to be at St. Mike's, not going to be at Centenary, right? The black dentists are going to be downtown in Kensington Market. They're not going to be in West Mall, right? Not at those times, right? Today, that we're ubiquitous, but back in those days, the core was there. And that's where the black vote last had any power. So if you look at those little pockets, Bathurst and Bloor, Jane and Finch, Little Jamaica, Oakwood, Vaughan, all those places, that's where the black vote has potency because we're together. But now mans are in Markham, mans in Scarborough, mans in Pickering, mans in Ajax,
Durham. Well, the Durham region has the highest concentration of African Canadians in all of Canada.
Agreed. And then Durham will get what they need at all three levels of government because they're together. Malton, yes. Don't forget about Malton. Yes, one of those new suburbs.
Ray says Malton also proximity of jobs to the airport and warehousing and logistics jobs in West Toronto.
100%. Malton's kind of one of those planned communities because of the Avro Arrow, the airplane that we built, and the Americans said, "Hey, cut it out. Well, we make planes, not you." And that was the end. That was the end of our airplane. Listen, we don't
make cars.
We don't even make cars, bro. We make their cars.
Right.
We don't even have our own car.
Man,
buddy, Italy has cars.
Vietnam has a car now.
Who?
Vietnam.
Vietnam has a car. The VinFast.
Man,
listen. So anyway, Canada has made a lot of moves that you have to understand the history and the politics of the history to get things done. But taxes, inflation, and the breakdown of the family are causing us to fall behind. We have the lowest net worth in the United States, and I'm sure those numbers cross the border as well. I can't speak for it because no one's done the study, but when you look at top Asians at the top, South Asians right there, then you got white, then you got Hispanic, then you have us on the bottom.
I just want to interrupt that was really put out when Dr. George Fraser pointed this out during his sharing session at the most recent ACBN. He brought it out, the stats. People who look like us, even so, if the married people who look like us at the bottom culturally, can you imagine where the single?
All right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
So what's the poverty line in Canada? Like 25 grand. We have a lot of people making 25 grand in this country that look like us. Right. That's 2 G's a month. Bro, you can't rent a 1-bedroom for less than $2,500. So if you're making 2 G's a month, you're toast. And if you're by yourself and you have multiple children, you're going to get the child credit from the government. There may be some other bonuses. We used to call it baby bonus, affectionately baby bonus. But there's some other things you can get from the government. But holy smokes, as soon as that child turns 18, that money's done. That's why you see a lot of women in our community, and I'm going to get in trouble, right? 18, and they have newborns, right? Because they had the first child at 16, 17, 18 years of age. They're 36 years old. 18-year-old comes off the government books. Newborn baby born. Why? Because another 18 years of the good stuff, right? Again, I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, I know you're going to get into.
But I'm going to say, and again, I'm not talking about everyone. There's a small minority, but this is the narrative that's out there. I don't want to perpetuate it. We are winning more than we're losing. We can look at the gap, or you can look at the gain. All right, what's the gain? The gain is everybody on this screen has gone to higher education. Whether you finish or didn't finish, you got the opportunity to go. That wasn't available 100 years ago, unless the HBCUs came into play. People fighting to get into Harvard, people fighting to get into those predominantly white schools, and some of them did. Booker T. Washington started Tuskegee. W.B. Du Bois went to Harvard, right? So we're doing things, and we've done things, and we have so much to celebrate as a people and a culture. But one of the things that we haven't really recovered from is the narrative of the narrative of the adoption of the feminist movement in the Black community.
Interesting. Right.
Okay, so LBJ comes into power. He creates social welfare, and the feminist movement comes in at the same time. The Black Panther Party is coming in at the same time. Martin Luther King is now dead, right? 1960, 68, and they kill Kennedy, and it's over for the Black Camelot of political power. Both Kennedys are gone, and King is gone. Malcolm X is gone. Medgar Evers is gone. I mean, it's tough. And now they're getting rid of Huey and everybody else in the Black Panther Party, and they're just taking us out. COINTELPRO is doing their job, and they're just wiping out. They say kill the snake, to cut off the head, and the rest of the body will die. And they're cutting off the heads of all the leaders of the Black community, leaving us headless, which allows the feminist movement to come into play, because our men are going to Vietnam in higher rates than anybody else. Why? Because they start with people who are not in university first, and then they get to university. World War II, they got to university. What's his name? Tom Hanks, who plays a guy. I think he was a teacher. Well, he's in World War II because they started running out of guys who didn't have high school education or less. So now all these guys, they're coming, and you notice he had Lieutenant Bars or Captain Bars on his shoulder because he has university education, right? So all the brothers are going to Vietnam, okay? And they're going on the front line infantry, where they're going to go up Hamburger Hill and get mowed down. So we lose a lot of our brothers in the 60s and 70s of Vietnam. Then we come out of that, and then what's his name? Nixon says we're going to have a war on drugs, which we all know now with the Freedom of Information Act is now the war on blacks. So what he does is he starts working to increase the prison population with Black people, demonizing marijuana, and cocaine wasn't a thing. Heroin was a thing, not cocaine. And that's going through the Black communities, and it's being planted, and then the cops and all this stuff, and the stop and frisk and all this stuff goes on, right? Then something happens. A little something called Roe v. Wade happens. And Roe v. Wade is the abortion legislation. And guess what? Planned Parenthood locates itself everywhere the Black community is. And if you understand what Planned Parenthood is, Margaret Sangster, she's a member of the KKK, and she put Planned Parenthood in every Black community to make sure that we would take ourselves out through abortion. And that's how you go from being 90% Black in the United States to 45 million. Because honest to God, we should be 150 million people. But starting in 1972, we started aborting our people at a scale and a rate that is incredible.
Whoa.
And we have a feminist movement. I don't need no man.
Right.
All right. And then we have a social welfare system that rewards financially for you to be by yourself.
Right. Okay.
So we got all those things happening at the same time. It's a perfect storm. The men are at war. The women are liberating. Abortion is coming into play. And Nixon has an economy that's about to go kaput because we got Watergate going on. Ford comes in. We got super high inflation. Everybody's unemployed. And then Jimmy Carter comes in and tries to calm things down. He can't. We have the Iranians hostages. Reagan comes in, the cowboy. They go, whoa, we got a cowboy in power. We hear your hostages, right? We don't want it. We don't want no smoke because Reagan's that guy. And we go into Reaganomics with trickle-down economics, where the rich get the tax breaks, the rich get everything, and the poor get nothing. And then introduce the CIA and everybody else to come in and introduce crack cocaine into the inner city. And then we start mass incarceration.
Right.
Okay, so now our brothers are either single mom led, going into gangs because their father's either at war, was in war in Vietnam, and he came back with no, before they knew about PTSD, shell shock, whatever you want to call it. These guys are coming back damaged, and there's no services for them, so they go out and they become homeless, and now the drugs and the drinking, and now they're out of the home, and the women are there by themselves, and they're fighting to do what they got to do, and they're getting, the women are getting it done. Listen, our women are fantastic. They're holding it down. They got these black boys. The black boys don't have the fathers because the fathers are strung out because the crack is in there. They're selling it, they're using it, or they're going to jail for it, or they're dying in the 80s, or they're going to jail.
Yeah.
And all that happens. And then your boy, Clinton and Biden, double down with the crime bill, 1994. And that's the nail in the coffin for the black man. But everybody's going to go out and vote Democrat, right? I'm not saying do what you want, Americans. You know what? I'm not an American. I can't speak to it. But the crime bill that Clinton put in doubled down on what Reagan and Nixon started. Okay, and what Hoover was trying to do, which was ensure the destabilization of the black family, because if the black family is father, mother, and kids working together in unison, great things happen. How do we know? Because before 1965, between 1865 and 1965, that was getting it done, even during Jim Crow. That's how Black Wall Street is created, not by single moms, by families, men and women working together, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, working together to build economics. And then when you build economics, you buy land. And when you buy land, you create food. And when you create food, you feed yourself. Right?
Sustainable.
So you become sustainable. So how do we get here? So here we are in 2024. Roe v. Wade gets reversed. Okay? Gets reversed. Why? Because 60% of abortion patients are white women.
Interesting.
So Roe v. Wade gets reversed. Why? Because you need to get those numbers up. Why? Because the Hispanics are having 4 and 5 kids. And white Americans are having 1, maybe 2. If you have 1, maybe 2, you can go to private school, charter school. If you have 3 or 4 or 5, you go into public school. And the public schools, as we know, are not great because they're based on the tax base. And if you have 4 or 5 kids, you're going to have to get a bigger house in a worse neighborhood in order to afford that house. So the math is against you. So you got to understand that the destabilization of the economics of the black family was systematic. Okay? And then we, as a culture, buy into what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to wear name brands. Why am I going to wear name brands? Because if I wear name brands, I get to validate myself. So I'm going to wear my gold. I'm going to wear my net worth on my neck, or on my teeth, or on my ears, or on my wrist. I'm going to wear, or on my hands. I'm going to wear my net worth because I need to show people that I'm of value, right? It's an identity crisis because you identify with the last 400 years, not the last 40,000. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the 40,000 years out of the history books.
True. Yep.
Right? And have you focus on every movie that's been made in the last 50 years, 12 Years a Slave, Amistad, Roots, the TV show. We're going to focus on the 400 years where you were on your knees and not let you know about who you were before the last 400 years. And then we're going to water down the last 400 years to make it look like we took that L by choice.
Whoa.
So now, so how's your self-esteem now when you say, yeah, my forefathers just took L's and did nothing about it? I'm not going to tell you about the hundreds of rebellions that were happening in the United States. I'm going to talk to you about blacks overturning the plantations and doing what Nat Turner was doing on the regular all over the diaspora. I'm not going to tell you those stories because that's going to embolden you to get pride and raise your identity. And then if you raise your identity, you're going to want to compete. If you want to compete, then there's only a certain amount of jobs out there. And while I have you distracted with, the NBA finals and what's happening to Caitlin Clark in the NBA, they're roughing her up and all these distractions. Is Trump going to jail? Is he not going to jail? You get your eyes off the ball.
Right.
Arthur Ashe said, eyes on the prize. We have forgotten or changed what the prize is. And the prize is unification of the Black family and generational wealth. Your mission, Ryan, your mission, Dr. Vibe, and anybody who's listening to these words, your mission, if you did not come from a wealthy family, your mission is to create one.
Agreed.
That's facts. As you would think, Wayne, you may be a candidate. Maybe you need to. But no, that I'm gonna run through some stuff because a pile of comments. First of all, Stephanie Joseph says Blackhurst. Yes, the Blackhurst Center down in Bathurst and Bloor area.
Yeah, shout out to Ita. They had a big announcement.
And the funny thing is, you know what? They just do under the radar. They don't tell people what they do. They just do it. Slow and steady win the race. Stephanie Joseph says, this is a great convo. So sad I have to leave now. I have to watch replay. Have an amazing day. Everyone be blessed. Yes, watch replay and subscribe and share it out. JJ Mars, excuse me, says, American social economic structure is probably a mirror of image for Canadian. Yep, absolutely. Dr. Tachi, what is up? Of Indie Suit Media. She is always here. Thank you so much. JG Mar says, when the civil rights bills were signed, the establishment was already hard at work planning to undermine it or minimize the benefits for Black Americans. Next up, the RSA, Mr. Rose says, don't forget who introduced our community to crack. Yes. Dr. Tachi says, Wayne is giving us the history of the world in 2 minutes.
Right. Yes.
Ray says, Wayne, you have put together an amazing chronology of events that have led to the current state of affairs in the Black family community. Thank you, sir. Also says, after that, yes, he indeed is Dr. Tachi. Okay. Ray also says, visible display of riches, but no real wealth. Facts.
Right.
Facts. Hayden Morrison says, thanks for this critical, much needed history. How did we find a strategy to effectively dealing with all the intended destruction of us? I know Wayne is going to get that. And Fitness IQ says, agree and trying. Before we get to solutions, Wayne, what troubles you the most about this culture when it comes, like, is it the whole self-value? Is it all the taking the okie doke? What bothers you, or what are some of the things that bother you the most? Before you go there, I'm going to call them out. There's a network called BET.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're still doing it because I don't watch the network, but they used to have a slogan called For the Culture.
Mm-hmm.
Whose culture? Because BET ain't owned by someone who looks like us. Yes. Whose culture? Whenever I hear For the Culture, when anyone says that, I'm going to go, okay, whose culture?
Right. Right. There are a number of people.
I'll come back to you, Wayne.
Sorry. There's a number of people out there that speak to the solutions that we have out there. Thomas Sowell, an economist. Mm-hmm. Some people will call him a Republican today, but he's very matter of fact about what's required. And it stems with education. And not education dependent on the system that was designed to have you at the bottom, but your own education. Last I checked, there are no guards in front of the library, and there are no guards in front of the Google search or YouTube channel. You have full democratization of access to the information, and with a new little thing called ChatGPT and all the other AI tools are out there, there's absolutely no reason you cannot get the information you need to get yourself to the next level. People are making active choices to stay the same. And that's on them. But again, the mindset of good enough versus great has to come from, again, what you're exposed to. And we know this. Go ahead, Brian.
I was curious if there's stats after that perfect storm about where marriage rates went. So I guess after 94.
Yeah, we're at 75% single moms.
Whoa.
Now we have the lowest The lowest marriage rates in the United States is about 30%, 35% for women, and about 38% for men. Again, American stats. So 60%, 67% of our people have no one. 1 in 3 Black women in the United States has a partner. 1 in 3. A lot of Black women running around looking for men, and the men are supposedly looking for them, but they're not finding each other. And one of the reasons for that is the narrative today is about, well, in order for you to be my man, you need to be over 6 feet. You need to make over 6 figures.
Right.
And you need to have natural endowments of over 6 inches. So 6, 6, and 6. All right. If you have those 3 things, welcome above. But 666 is also, anyway, we won't go there.
We won't go there. We won't go there.
So, and again, this is again the narrative being pushed. This may not be reality. You may need to bring on.
Hold on a second. How many people just in general have that reality, right?
Well, I mean, less than how many brothers are there over 6 feet, single, straight, and are looking to marry today? In your neighborhood, wherever your neighborhood is. I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2.5", and I've made over 6 figures since time, right? But I've been married since time, right? Because I found what I was looking for when I was 19. Part of me was vexed, but now part of me is very happy because I didn't have to go through. I didn't have to go through all what a lot of guys had to go through. But I'll tell you this. There's a difference between a man and a male. There's a difference between a man and a male.
Facts.
Women are looking for men, and they're finding males or attributing manhood attributes to malehood. And malehood is not manhood. What's the difference? Malehood, they can barely take care of themselves. Manhood, not only do they want to take care of themselves, they want to take care of their wife and their kids.
And I'm going to add a little on to that. And then there's a question coming up from Ray. I'm going to add on that.
Sure.
A man will be willing to marry a lady who has kids that aren't from him.
Well, this is a challenge, Dr. Vibe, because
it is a challenge. But the thing is,
Did
he freeze or did I freeze?
Oh, I think Dr. Vibe froze.
No,
but that's not ideal, though, right?
It isn't ideal.
It might be possible, but those men that check all those boxes are typically not looking for women that have kids.
They're not, but unfortunately, there is a reality out there that's out there. So there's a number of different factors out there, but I think we as a people should do the best you can, even if for 5 seconds. If there's a youth out there, if you can even spend 5 seconds out there to just give them some suggestions, do it.
Listen, single Black mothers. I was raised by a single Black mother, and then by a single Black father, and now I am a father of 2 adult children. I can tell you that the ability for folks who are raised by single parents, it becomes very difficult for them to work together. If you have a husband who was raised by a single mother and a wife who was raised by a single mother, and the 2 of them come together, well, who's alpha and who's beta? Because all they've seen is their mother do alpha. So she's coming in alpha. He's coming in trying to be alpha, but he's never seen alpha.
Right.
He's theorizing.
Yeah.
Asking me how I know. So I'm theorizing alpha. I had to find my alphas, and my alpha was in Mississauga, which is why I live in Mississauga, because he's here. So I had to find him. I had to deputize him and get a surrogate to find him, because my father, I don't remember. I've seen pictures of him and my mother together in the 60s, but I've never seen my father and mother, or my father and another person, or my mother and another person in the alpha beta relationship.
Gotcha.
Working it together. I had to find that when I came to Toronto. Okay, so if you have that, I'm gonna say this, and again, everybody here on the replay or live can correct me if I'm wrong. I have one question for men and I have one question for women when you're out there dating and trying to check the pulse, because when you're out there in the street, you're not meeting the person, the authentic person. You're meeting their representative. They put their best foot forward.
Yes,
they bathe, they shave, they get their hair did, nails did, everything did, and they come out
and their beards oiled up.
Right, everything going on, and then the two representatives meet at a Starbucks, two representatives meet for brunch, two representatives meet. You don't meet the authentic person, but during that exchanging of information with representatives, I want you, when you get to a certain point, to ask this question. And it is undefeated. I'll go on the record. Here's the question. What's your relationship like with your father? And if you hear negative or non-existent, then the next question is, who's your surrogate?
Okay.
And if the answer is negative or non-existent, you're going to have a problem. On either side. Come for me. I'll stand on that question.
Okay, let's catch up with some conversation topic here. Fitness IQ says social media is a lie. Flick Fireworks says blessings. Good to have you here, Flick Fireworks. Serena says this. That part, Wayne, we are looking for men. Also, a man who is a spiritual leader of his household and wants to be an emotionally and mentally stable and willing to do the same. To work on his mouth. Okay, I'm gonna say something to that. Yes, you got to be looking for that, but also, are you that?
Don't talk about it.
Right?
About it.
Right? Because if you're looking for that, you better be that or be able to admit your challenges. And we're talking about culture here. Relationships are part of the culture. 100%. So I just put it out there. Next, Mini on Cam. Yes, I have to get you Wayne's contact information. My parents divorced when I was young, so I was not getting the role model I needed to find a mate. While my half brother got my father and his mother for 20 years. They are divorcing now.
Oh, so who's divorcing? The parents are divorcing or the kid is divorcing?
Yeah, and then Ray says 18 to 25, the most important period in a young black man or lady's life. The choices you make during that time will impact your future in a profound way. Yes, and Flick Fireworks says be the best reflection of what you're looking for. 100%. Now, let's come back to a question from the McMillan Group. Wayne, how do those stats impact retirement above the poverty line, both in U.S. and Canada? What is your opinion?
Well, here's the deal. You're going to have a hard time retiring if you were towards the bottom socioeconomically while you're making 100%. You're making 100% and you're poor. Now you're going to go down to 60%.
Right.
Right? Listen, this is where we need our tribe. This is where we need our tribe.
So we need a real culture.
Yeah, we need like there's all these 1-bedroom apartments and 1-bedroom condos with all these people, men and women, by themselves. Versus the homestead that could have one piece of land and everybody could have a 1,300 square foot home for the same price as a condo, but we got to live communally. So there's a community garden, there's a community swimming pool, there's a community gym, and you just live together. This is what the Punjabis call Brampton.
There you go.
Yeah, and this is what the Greeks call the Danforth. This is what the Italians call Woodbridge. This is what the Chinese call Chinatown or Markham. Okay,
Right.
You understand? This is what the Ukrainians call Bloor West, right? Everyone is doing it. The blueprint is clear. We just have to do the same thing.
More comments here. Minion Cam says, my father and his second wife is divorcing now for my half brother. I don't understand.
So he got remarried.
Okay.
Half brother was living with them.
Okay. Then Serena Wills says, and you continue to meet the representative during the honeymoon phase, as they call it, until you get locked in.
Right.
And then Minion Cam says, yes, 100% below poverty line before age 65 is hard. Also, Serena Will says, If the answer is negative or non-existent, run.
Wow.
Unless to your point, they're gonna do the work, right? I had to do work, right? My wife's parents are an example of what I was looking for, but they live in Trinidad, not here, so I'm not getting that daily dose of what I need to see how I can be in my masculine, she can be in her feminine, and we work together. Also, I have to have the feminine side as well. I'm not always in alpha mode. I need to be in beta mode. When someone comes to me with a problem, one of my children, I can't be alphaing on them. I got to give them what they need to nurture them. So I have that too. But what it is, it's a vacillation on a spectrum. It's not A or B. It's A to B, B to A, depending on the situation. And you have to have the emotional intelligence to get to that level.
You have to be willing to do the work.
You have to do the work.
It's like that, just 100%, and it's ongoing. You never are there.
Right.
We're never there. Serena Will says you have to be that as a woman and willing to do the work. It shouldn't fall on one person. You shouldn't be unequally yoked. That's draining.
I agree.
Minnie on Cam says the yin and the yang. Absolutely. Right? One of the phrases that always blows my mind is, and I'm sure we've all heard it, opposites attract. No, they don't.
Opposites attract in terms of, maybe you're an extrovert, I'm an introvert.
But there has to be some common foundation, though.
The foundation is your values, vibe. If your values are the same, and if my values, this is why you see a lot of interracial marriages going on in churches, because the foundation is the church value system. And if I'm a member of the church and you're a member of the church and we have the same foundational values, we can work together. Okay. And people are stepping out of their culture because the culture is the church's value system. So if I look like you, not all skin folk are kinfolk, ask Malcolm X, because he wasn't shot by a white guy. Not all skin folk are kinfolk. So we have to look past melanin and say, what do we have in common beyond both being Jamaican, beyond both being from Portland, beyond both being from St. Anne? What do we actually have in common from a value system perspective, and then bring that together for the greater glory of the family 100%. To celebrate whatever it is you believe in.
Look at this. Hayden Morrison has a great comment here. It says, could we set up an ongoing conference to understand and address these issues? That's an offline conversation, but this is some of the stuff that you'll also be getting again when the black belt conversations happen. They're going to go, like, as I said, that conversation on this week, that was the appetizer. You're getting a little bit more, but when Ray and Way go in, they ain't going to hold back. They're not going to hold back.
Absolutely. And I was curious your thoughts on questions to ask on those honeymoon date, not honeymoon, but
all day, bro. Listen.
But the other one, I'm not sure if we saw John Hope Bryant talking about asking a person's credit score on that first date. What are your thoughts? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Value. Spending is a value. Saving is a value. So when I go through value system analysis, those things will come up. Right? If someone is renting in a part of town that is of ill repute, but their car is brand new with nice rims and tint, right? It lets me know something about them.
Interesting culture. Interesting culture. Mini on Cam goes, many relationships are together because they are trauma bounded. So they bound off sexual attraction, but not common interest. So many relationships are together because they are trauma bounded. So they are bound off sexual attraction, but not common interest. Also, Heather Harris. I know who that is. Good morning, gentlemen. 1, we have to reclaim our community as a people of African descent. 2, similar values connect. Serena Will says, yes, agree, Wayne. She also says, if they're willing to do the work, then okay. But don't talk the talk. You need to walk the walk. Was that a famous thing way back when? Jimmy Johnson of the Dallas Cowboys. He says, you can't just talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. Heather Harris says, most people haven't assessed their own values, so they don't know what values they desire or want to avoid. ADT says credit scores on the first date. You're bright. At least you get to know the person first.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm not going to be Steve Harvey. I'm not. I'm going to give you a prescription. What I'm going to tell you is this: you're going to have. You can't tell someone's personality and someone's values at 50 feet, but you can tell if you're physically attracted to them or not. So the first hurdle is, what are you attracted to? Now you're attracted to that person. Now, what do you have in common? I used to read the comics when I was a kid. I used to see Betty and Veronica. From my eyes, I couldn't tell the difference. One had yellow hair, one had black hair. I go, Archie, why are you jonesing over Veronica and not Betty? Oh, it must be the money. It must be the lifestyle. I couldn't get it because Veronica, her personality was for Archie to chase her. And Betty was chasing Archie. Archie was rejecting what was chasing him, but was in pursuit of what he wanted because he's a hunter. So Veronica understood the assignment. Think about it. It's right there in the book. He was chasing Veronica. She was not chasing him. Only when she felt the threat of Betty did she have any interest in Archie, because she always had Reggie in the background. Yes or yes?
Yep.
Gotcha. Right.
Dr. Chachi says, hey, Serena Wills. Hey, sis. Minnie on Cam has someone's credit score can be repaired faster than their mental health.
I agree. I agree.
I think also too, Wayne, I'm going to see if we can make it happen. Have you and Minnie on Cam together on a morning vibe. I think that would be dynamite.
She's a vibe. She's a vibe. We're connecting. We're connecting. We're gonna get it again, Dr. Vibe.
I just do. So culture. What are some things that you think people like us we need to do as a culture to get our culture at least next best steps? Not to where it has to be, but what's some next best steps?
We need some financial hygiene, for lack of a better term. So what does that mean? It means that I do a financial needs analysis, which means what's coming in, what's going out, what emergency fund do you have, what debt do you have, what type of debt do you have, what's the interest rate on the debt. One of the things I wanted to discuss today was we're going to talk about payday loans and where those places are located and what the interest rates are, and how it's crushing the economic viability of families of all cultures, but especially ours, because those payday loans are located in specific locations in Toronto. And if you draw a map of where we live and where they are, exactly the same. So we know who they're coming for. Listen, the interest rate is 300% plus per year, because it's 46.96 on a 2-week loan. On a 2-week loan. So if you were to annualize that, it's 390%. Who's borrowing money for 10 days and paying $15? So I borrow $100, I pay $15 back. That's not a 15% loan. Take 15% and amortize it over a year. It's over 300%.
Whoa.
This is what we're doing on a daily basis. And people are doing it because it doesn't hit their credit. Some of the loans don't hit their credit. So I've got people leasing cars at 12%.
What?
29%. Yes, I see it all, Dr. Vibe. So people don't understand that if they go to these payday loan places, Cash Money, Fairstone, Easy Pay, Go Financial, you go to these places, whatever they're called in the United States, whatever they're called from wherever you are, these places are not considered predatory loan sharking because they're below the 60% threshold, but 46% is below the 60% threshold. Therefore, they're not loan sharking. But it's insane to use this as a financial plan. I was going to talk about that today. Last couple of things I want to say. Everybody on here who's listening, go and look at every investment you have, every insurance you have, and make sure you update the beneficiary. We have a lot of people in our community who are separated and not divorced. If something happens, the beneficiary of their last person is going to get the money, not the person that they're living with, taking care of them in the hospital now, because the beneficiary has not been changed.
There are too many horror stories I could share about that here right now, but I don't want to go there.
Right. So check, inspect your beneficiaries.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not who you want it to be, and you're now common law, or you're now married, go and change it. If you're divorced, it will remove them because of the divorce. But look at who's on your pension. Look at who's on your insurance. Look at who's on your, in the States, Roth IRA, tax-free savings account in Canada, 401k down there, RRSP up here. Look at who the beneficiaries are. You might be sending money to someone who is trying to do you harm.
Yes.
Okay? All right, Dr. Ryan, talk to me.
Still more comments. Hayden says, is it possible that our common historical traumas means that this is an important conversation is beyond many in our community? Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
But then the question is, Wayne, how can we get them get that next step from those individuals? Or is it we have to just wait when they're ready?
Yeah, the teacher appears when the student is ready.
Okay, 100%. Okay. Serena Will says, hey, Sororitachi, IBB ADD says this. Please shut down pay loans. They are culture vultures and are strategically located in the low-income, high-needs neighborhoods. Yes. Minion Cam says they have 5 money marts on Yonge Street from the Eaton Center up to Yonge and St. Clair alone. Serena Will says, I agree with the trauma bond. I agree with the trauma bonding. It is happening too much in our communities. Heather Harris says, respect is critical in relationships. Their love can be cultivated. So going back to that word, culture cultivated. Minion Cam says, at Serena Wills, it is a 10-year romantic relationship. I've been in a good thing. I kept going to therapy while the situation was happening. Also, she says, and instant cash loans target people on social assistance all the time. It was the reason I filed for a consumer proposal in 2019. It is discharged now. Mm-hmm. Also, and instant cash loans target people. Yeah, so I got that. And also, we have Minion to heal from the trauma is self-awareness, but we have a mental health crisis in Canada. That is facts.
Agreed. And that transcends into finances. So
yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Here's what I know with some people. As soon as they get money in their hand, their immediate inclination is, I must spend this money because my identity is with poverty. So when I get this money, I have to go out and do what all people of poverty mindset do, which is spend it, go to restaurants, buy stuff they don't need, and get back to the money being gone. Lend it to people who won't pay it back so they get back to comfort. This is why lottery winners are broke 5 years after they win the lottery. Because if you have a $40,000 a year identity and you win $4 million, you're going to self-sabotage your way back down to where you're comfortable. That's why when people get jobs that pay more than they were expecting, you go for a job and you think you're going to get paid 65 and they pay 85, all of a sudden your boss is terrible. This place is racist. You do whatever you have to do to self-sabotage yourself back down to the income level you're comfortable with.
Whoa.
If you want to make more money, then you need to build your identity to say that I am worthy of that money. This same Wayne Harris you're looking at made $3.54. Shout out to Victoria Square Burger King in Montreal, Quebec, because that's what I made, $3.54 an hour. This same Wayne Harris made $3.54 every half second last week. Well, what's the difference between that Wayne and this Wayne? Well, there's 40 years of growth or 40 years of age, because aging is automatic. Growth is a choice. Okay? So people have to understand that you might be 50 years old or you might be 36 times. Understand how to tell the difference. And you can see in their behavior, because all things equal, I don't care what you say to me, I watch what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Fact.
Right? Wayne, I can't invest in the TFSA. I can't get that life insurance. Yes, I want to tell you, I'm so excited for my trip to Jamaica in 2 weeks. Wayne, I cannot put that money into the RESP for my child. That I value education, because education is it. You must go to university, and all the black moms have RESPs, Registered Education Savings Plans. Yet none of them have taken a course since they left high school. Your words are incongruent with your own actions, and your kids are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the fathers. Don't want to go to school, don't want to level up, vexed that they're not getting paid. Hey, TTC was supposed to go on strike. This is the Toronto Transit Corporation. They were supposed to go on strike because they want more money in job security. Hey, it's an oxymoron. There is no such thing as job security. Do a good job, keep the job. Don't do a good job, don't keep the job. If the company is not making enough money, you will lose a job.
Yep.
Ask everybody who worked in tech or finance over the last 3 years. They were fantastic. MBAs, CFAs, CPAs, doing great. But guess what? Macroeconomic shift, bye-bye. Got to go, because the number one reason a business is in business is to create shareholder value. And number two, be profitable.
True.
Last I checked, it didn't say anything about job security.
Look.
Right. Yes.
Look, someone taught a long time ago when I was in the work world, the only thing you should expect when you get a job. Actually, it's funny because someone I know very close just got laid. He said, I just got laid off from my dream job.
Aye.
My dream job got laid off. Right? If I had a job back in this world, the only thing I would expect to do is get paid. I don't expect to be appreciated. I wouldn't even this is me. I don't expect you to get my name right.
All right.
I sign my contract. If I do this, you pay me. I don't want anything else. Pay me. I don't expect anything else. Pay me. It's a transaction.
I mean, what people go into jobs thinking that they've joined the army and they're soldiers and fighting for a cause, and the cause is whatever the mission is of the company. You're not a soldier. You're a mercenary. Mercenaries fight for money, not for a cause.
Yes.
When you have a job, you're fighting for money. When you have your own business, now you're a soldier in your own business for your own cause. And even if you work 24 hours to make what you would make in 8, it's 24 hours for you and yours.
Right. And you bring in some mercenaries to fight for you.
All right. And then you bring in some mercenaries to fight for you.
Yes.
But what you do, honestly, is you just give the mercenaries a piece, and the mercenaries will fight for the cause.
You're paying, yeah.
This is why my business grows, because people see how they can win with me for their family.
Right.
So I'm not going to disparage jobs. I had one until I was 50. Right. I worked from, honestly, getting paid to sing in the choir at 8 years old to the age of 50. I went somewhere for someone to do something every week.
Yes.
But at 50, I had enough of not being paid what I represented as my true worth. How do you know what your worth is? Take a look at your bank account. Right? From that perspective, from an economic perspective. I'm not saying people's value is tied to their job. I know some people come at me, right? But I'm saying one of the measures, one of the key performance indicators is if you're winning financially, you're adding more value in what it is you want to do and what you're good at and what the market wants and what the market wants to pay for. And that's called ikigai in Japanese, IKIGAI, ikigai. And you can see that diagram and see where you are, and you can make your adjustments. But trust me when I tell you, last word on this, anything you do with a mentor, you will move faster. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. We need to humble ourselves and find mentors in the areas where they are superior to us in knowledge or ability, and they want to help us get to the next level. This is the part that people forget. They want to help us get to the next level. People say, I'm not paying that guy to do that. Okay, stay broke.
Mm.
I'm not going to pay for that. I'm going to go buy the book and read it. You could do that. But here's what I know. Speed to value. If I can take a 2-day course or a 2-day conference and learn what I would learn in 14 books in one weekend, I'm going to take the course.
True.
Because I know what I'm worth per hour. And if the course is less than what I'm worth per hour and they're going to give me 16 hours of content, then the course is a discount and I win because I can implement that on Monday rather than implementing it after I get through 14 books, which could be 14 months.
Yes.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, the investment versus expense. Let me put it this way. I'll say that I am enjoying doing work more on my own than I'm working for a company.
Same.
And I'm getting paid more for what now maybe in the not total, but I can choose when I work, who I work with, and how much I charge.
I agree.
This is part of culture. Like, yeah, maybe at the end I'm that, but I'm enjoying life more. Right now I'm in a phase where I can spend time with my parents. If I was like, and all of us here, no matter what age you are, most of you are gonna have to do something to take care of your parents. Culture-wise, I'm just saying this is for me. You don't know. You want to think about generational. And I'm gonna say it to people here. There's gonna be at least one person here. They're gonna see us and hear, "Whoa, those guys talked about taking care of my parents. I never thought about that." It's gonna happen.
Well, squeeze generation is here.
Right? That's part of culture.
That's culture for everybody. It's just demographics.
Right? Because again, as I always say, they always talk about baby boomers. It didn't just happen with the non-melanated people. It's us too.
My sister's a boomer. I'm a Generation X. Her generation got all the houses at the lowest possible price. My generation got it at the second highest price. My kids can't even buy without me helping them.
Right, yes.
It's getting worse. So that means we have to get better, but not linearly. We have to get better exponentially. The gap between what a house costs and what the income was 50 years ago was very small. The gap between what a house costs today and what income is massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So linear growth, even doubling your salary from 50 to 100 isn't going to help you. In order for you to grow, your income has to go exponentially. That's why I'm listening to these guys at TTC saying they want a 12% raise. Well, 12% raise retroactive in the last 2 years is 8% inflation last year, 3% this year. So that's 11. You got a 12% raise. You got a 1% raise.
Yeah, almost a wash.
It's a wash, bro.
And the worst part about it is the people in Toronto are going to be paying for that.
Well, they're paying for it now.
They're paying for it now, and just causes more of a squeeze on whatever you're making money wise.
Listen, when John Tory said people under the age of 12 go on to TTC for free, I went, you don't have that money to do that, bro. You have the money to get reelected, but you don't. The TTC does not have the money. Not when you shutting down tracks on Saturdays every week on every line.
Yes.
And there's going to be shuttle buses to get you from here. What? We need money to fix the infrastructure, bro.
Right.
How is it you can't maintain? Now this thing is 50 years old, so I get it. 60 years old, I get it. But guess what? New York runs, Montreal runs. Why can't Toronto run? Because Toronto has people who have short-term thinking. By the time the tracks break, they're no longer in power. Okay. Anyway.
Yep.
All right. Some more final comments before Wayne leaves. Minion Camp says, if it hits Maslow's hierarchy of needs, first which also included mental disorders. Also loves this fact, biological age versus psychological age. Yes, people on social assistance always cannot save when their earned income is what they save, not so much the payout from social assistance. They get mad at me when I tell them that. There you go. Serena Will says, during the pandemic, they banned payday loans, title loans, and instant cash loans in Virginia. The only way to get instant cash was a pawn shop.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's an idea.
Serena Will said also, they say it again, aging is automatic, growth is a choice. Mic drop.
Yeah.
Ray McMillan says, as someone who has reviewed thousands of home appraisals, one thing that is most times missing from Black homes is a bookshelf or a library. Ouch! Ouch!
If your television is bigger than your library, you're going to be broke.
Ouch!
95-inch TVs for $2,000. But nobody has an Audible subscription. Nobody has a Kindle, and no one goes to used bookstores. When I go into used bookstores, I can see by the owner that he's shocked.
Yeah.
Buddy, I love a used bookstore, eh?
Yes.
With all those big, expensive U.S. books, you see the price, $35 U.S., $50 Canadian. I can get that book for $12 because someone didn't have the time, patience, or whatever to read the book, and it's in pristine condition. Yo, bro, give me a used bookstore any day of the week.
Yes.
Oh my, Minion Cam, the McMillan Group, mortgages and real estate. Dave Ramsey millionaire study covered how many millionaires are readers. Also, she says there's an Ikigai free test online. It was so eye-opening. Minion Cam also says, yes, I have issues buying coaching or training course. Think it's expensive, but have no problem to take out a student loans and not to get a job after college.
Whoa.
Listen, this is called self-awareness. Thank you, Mini on Cam, because you're speaking facts and you're making it personal. I appreciate you because, listen, let's be real. I grew up in Montreal where you can go to university for a bag of Doritos. It's the cheapest college in Canada.
Yes.
If you're local in Quebec, you can go to McGill University for less than 10 grand for all 3 years.
Whoa.
Yep.
And people who look like me do not go to McGill. They do not go to Concordia. They do not go to Bishops. Those are the 3 English-speaking universities in Quebec. We are not going. But we're going to say it's racism. You want me to fight the power? You want me to get a picket? Why don't you get a bus pass and go down to McGill because you can get there by metro and walk into one of the most venerable universities in the country and go get some paper that's going to be worth something. Not just some paper to say you got paper from McGill, but get some paper that you can translate into income. This is what we're missing. I understand you want to study what you want to study, but you need to understand if you're going to go drop money, even if it's a bag of Doritos money, buy something that you can weaponize for income when you get out.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, don't go to university. Don't waste your money. Go to college. If you don't want to go to college, go get skilled trade because, like I said, there are crane operators making $160,000 a year.
100%.
Put away the arts degrees. They said that's the most unemployed degree. I think in 2023.
Yeah,
was arts degree.
And $10,000 in student loans.
Yeah,
for the privilege.
Right.
Now, if your parents got it like that, you got an RESP and they paid for it, but then fine. Go do what you want. Do you. But if you're paying for it out of pocket, weaponize that degree, please.
Yes. Fitness IQ Camp says, take the course indeed. Mini on Camp says, baby boomers is a timeline of births who are aging and living with disability and sickness. Wow. And Fitness IQ Camp says 12% raise. She loved how you dropped that. And Mini on Camp says, my dad worked on the TTC the last time they strike. He had to pick me up from my job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Mr. Harris, something tells me the stuff you wanted to chat about you didn't even get to today. It doesn't matter.
You know what? Whenever you and the Gala King get together, I have no chance.
Yeah.
we go deep on the culture. It is so refreshing to just kind of free for all. You know, people want me to say, what's your topic? What's your topic? The topic is what's on people's hearts and minds when we get on this channel to deliver the message.
Absolutely.
So we go where we need to go to make it happen so that there's engagement. Brother, there's engagement.
Yeah. And also the nice thing too is you and especially the audience drive the ship. Like Mini on Cam, I'm telling you, I'm going to be, when you and Wayne introduce, yes, but do please promise a segment for the morning vibe of both of you together because that will be, because I've shared what she's to some people, what she shared. They're going, wow, that needs to be talked about. What she said.
She knows, bro. She's
Oh,
fire.
right?
Knows.
And with the right mentorship, she could really make some serious coin.
I'm gonna help with that. I'm gonna help with that.
Because she's got a story. Because she goes, yeah, I knows, and I'm 39. Mignon Cast. There you go. And the funny thing is, someone spoke to me offline, said, she does what? I go, yeah. I said, yeah, but look what she's doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Now listen, we're all living at the levels of our own expectations. Right? My parents had expectations for me. My wife has expectations for me. My kids have expectations for me. But what expectations do I have for myself?
Well, that's culture right there. Right? Right there, like self-esteem.
Agreed.
Right? That's a huge part of this culture thing. And the better your self-esteem is, it also ties in what in regards to financial knowledge and financial movement.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You have to believe, Dr. Vibe, you have to believe that you deserve to be wealthy. That's where it starts.
Right.
And if you don't believe you deserve to be wealthy, then any money that comes in your hands is going to fall right through it like grains of sand, because you are going to destroy it because you don't feel you're worthy of it.
The only one of the challenges, though, is people feel that they're worthy, but they're getting their information of culture from sources that are questionable.
Nefarious sources, eh?
Right?
Yeah. Trust but verify. That's all I'm going to say. Trust but verify. My son is like, Dad, you're an Instagram researcher. I go, listen, I go on Instagram, I hear the 30 seconds to the 1 minute. Then he said to me, I'm learning from my 25-year-old, now you need to get your butt off of Instagram and go to YouTube and find a full 1 hour, 2 hour session and see if that sound bite is in context with the full story.
Yeah.
Well, lazy Wayne ain't going to do it. So I'm going to keep my belief system. But what I'm telling you is this. I'm not attached to anything that I'm saying. Someone comes on here or after and says, Wayne, you were wrong on this. The stat is this. Net new information, I leveled up. Thank you. I just grew. So I'm not attached to any opinion that I'm saying here today. This is my opinion for myself at this level of my life right now. But someone comes on to the chat or reaches out to me and books me and has a meeting and says, on this, you were incorrect. I added to my lexicon of knowledge, and the next time I come on the show, I will automatically update and reflect the new reality based on the new knowledge, because I'm not attached to my belief system. I'm attached to the belief system that makes sense and is the actual facts. That's what I'm attached to.
Well, and 100% too, because the thing is, when someone challenges me on something and say, can you prove that?
That's all.
Right?
Show me your source.
If you can prove it, I'll run with you. But if you can't prove it, and again, we all have value, but unfortunately, there's some people who don't feel they have value.
And that's what, and you know what, and this is a journey in self-esteem that we're all on, right? You know, what was the name of the song? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
Yeah, Skilo.
I wish I had a phone, a girl, so I could call her.
Yeah.
What was the name of that guy?
Was it Skilo? Yeah.
Skilo, yeah. Right? Hey, he's just saying what we're all saying to ourselves.
Yes.
Right? But I'm not about wishing. I'm about putting together a plan and working with people who already been there. If you want to go somewhere for the first time, follow someone who has already been there. I'm
100%.
not looking for travel agents, Dr. Vibe. I'm looking for tour guides.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Final words. I'm out.
All right. So a few last comments before you're out. Fit Inside Cam says, can't wait for our conversation, Minnie. So I guess you're going to have her on the platform. Fit Inside Q goes, wow. Minnie says, Bob Proctor says it's time to change your paradigm and your wealth is your birthright. Well-deserved. Fitness IQ says we deserve to be wealthy and we deserve to be wealthy indeed. Some people don't feel that, by the way. Serena says weaponize that degree, 100%. Ray says Millen Group, perspectives and opinions can be changed and we can receive new and accurate information. Something we need to live by. 100%. Minion Cam, there is a reason I quote what section of the policy directive of social assistance that says, what assets can you have?
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I call her wish a rabbit in a hat with a bat. I love
Yes.
that is a way to end off the conversation. Wayne, as always, thank you for dropping the non. Looking forward. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time with Ray McMillan.
Let's go.
That's going to be
looking forward to it.
Black Belt Fridays. Black Belt Fridays coming.
Watch out. And it's not going to happen on the regular, probably every 3 months, folks. So you better catch it. You better catch it when it's on, or at least better catch it live on the replay. But Wayne, as always, thank you for what you have done, are doing, and will be doing for others. Best to Angie and the rest of the kids. And will your son's graduation happen before the 21st? I don't think so.
The day before.
Whoa!
Yeah, so we'll be rocking that. Maybe I'll post some pictures. I'm gonna try to pass through First Fridays tonight, bro. 30 years. I was there when I first came to Toronto with Warren. So Rai, I'm gonna see the Gala
See you
King.
down there.
Okay.
Love it.
All right, Wayne. Take care and keep the faith.
Peace.
Peace, man. That was awesome. That was good as always. Well, Gala King, what do you think?
Yeah, it was an excellent conversation. Love it.
Well, you know what? It was good to have you there for the whole thing. Like,
Yes,
man,
sir. Yes, sir.
this makes it a real First Friday for you because you were here for the whole thing.
Yeah, gotta make it a habit.
Excellent. So what's up for you for the rest of the week?
Yeah, so hey, hopefully we'll see Wayne down at First Fridays. Not sure if he'll pop by, but 30th anniversary. Shout out to Warren Salmon, and that'll be downtown at the Globe and Mail building. And then tomorrow we're doing our car cleaning in-person training with our youth entrepreneurs with Detailing Nights. So shout out to that. I think we have one spot available. I have to check the link, but I'll send that out. And then Sunday, I think Sunday's quiet. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry. So Sunday is my son's birthday.
Oh, yes. Good to remember. Yes. How old now?
So he's turning 9. Nope, he is 9. Wait. No. Oh, It's June 9th. He's turning 9. Yeah, it's what do they call it when it's a kid? It's not a champagne birthday.
I have no idea. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Roger Dundas says maybe I should be attending First Fridays tonight. It's up
See
to
you
you.
there, sir. We'll see you there.
He also fitness I cam. LOL. If it's downtown, that's a no for Dr. Vibe. Probably because I just really found out about it. I found it on my LinkedIn timeline. I don't know if I'll go. And Fitness IQ says happy early birthday to your son.
Thank you. He appreciates
All right. What a bunch of stuff leveled out today. My goodness. So
what are you up to this weekend? If not,
I don't think I'm doing First Fridays tonight. The Globe and Mail building, there's an interesting story behind that I'm not going to talk about live. Not too much, I think, during the day tomorrow, primetime Saturday, tomorrow night. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, follow Dr. Vibe on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, if you want to find Mr. Knight, RyanO'NeillKnight.com, Ryan O'Neill Knight on LinkedIn, Instagram at Ryan.Knight99, email workwithme, Ryan O'Neill Knight. You're seeing along the bottom where you can watch replays. You can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube and Facebook, Afro-Caribbean Business Network, Facebook, YouTube, and Ryan Knight, YouTube and LinkedIn. What else do we want? What do I want to do? Okay, there we go. Coming up on this Sunday's Black Canada Talking live at 5 p.m. We're going to be talking about the challenges with Black mental health and how we can do better in our Canadian society. Monday, Carolyn Nicole is back for part 2 on how not to lose your health on vacation. Part 2. And as always, check out Primetime Saturdays live 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Aisha and Lala, where they try to make sense of the nonsense that is going on in America.
I love it.
We have 2 more quick comments. Share. Christian will be 9. Stop doubting yourself. And she says, have a great week and all. Share. Thank you for watching your husband's back. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You better
Okay.
appreciate it, but I don't know if I want to be around after this call because you stumbled a bit, brother.
Right.
All right. So we are done. Great conversation as always. Thanks everyone for making it happen with Wayne. Again, I really want to emphasize all the conversations coming up. And also too, 21st, 9 a.m. Wayne Harris, Ray McMillan. Fire. That's all I gotta say. Fire. All right. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace, well, keep the faith, and walk good.